Inheritance once meant something solid: land, a home, a place at the family table. But today, inheritance is more likely to mean nothing at all. Instead of roots, we inherit digital fragments, debts of a vanished legacy. What does it mean to belong when the family table is gone and inheritance is measured in absence? Tonight, we trace the genealogy of ghosts, how skyrocketing property costs and precarious labor markets have dissolved the traditional family, and how the behavioral threshold monster waits at the edge, hungry to drag us all down deeper into the void. Multi-generational homes, once the anchors of identity and belonging, are vanishing. Inheritance is no longer land or family tradition, but debt and uncertainty. The family tree, once rooted in real soil, now branches into the digital void. Rising property prices, stagnant wages, and gig work have made ancestral homes unattainable. Families now pass down precariousness, ghost assets, underwater mortgages, and systemic debt. This is necro-economics. Not just the economics of life, but the economics of loss, decay, and haunted inheritance. A framework for understanding how economic forces erode the continuity of family and legacy. The behavioral threshold monster feeds on this erosion, preying on the cracks in our collective identity. It's not a literal beast, but a personification of the subtle, invisible forces that push society toward irreversible change. The promise of generational wealth has collapsed. Children inherit student loans and medical debt, not houses and stability. Starter homes are luxury fantasies. Family memories now live in the cloud. Relationships through screens. Our heritage reduced to absences and obligations. Digital archives and virtual connections may preserve names and faces, but they cannot replace the lived experience of shared space, stories, or traditions. What happens to identity when the stories and places that we inherit are replaced by empty accounts and digital traces? The behavioral threshold monster. It thrives as the old foundations dissolve, turning us into living phantoms of lost legacy. As living costs rise and secure work vanishes, the family unravels. Elderly parents isolated in care homes, young adults trapped in perpetual renting, unable to build equity or afford children. Family gatherings have become group chats and algorithm-driven feeds. A family tree rooted in cyberspace, not soil. Maybe you remember the warmth of family gatherings, now replaced by notifications and screens. The ache of absence is real, but so is the power of memory. As we share stories and ask questions, we can start to reclaim what the monster has tried to erase. Modernity connects us instantly and constantly, yet leaves us profoundly alone. The behavioral threshold monster lurks here, feasting on the cracks in connection and identity. What we call normal today would have been unthinkable generations ago. The household is no longer mutual support. Instead, it's a cost center to minimize. The dream of the family home is replaced by fragmented living units and transient co-living spaces. In Japan, millions of ancestral homes, akiya, sit empty. Across Europe, family estates are abandoned. This isn't just a housing crisis, it's a legacy crisis. The line of inheritance has been severed, replaced by a landscape of economic ghosts. When the need for connection and belonging is replaced by clinical efficiency and economic optimization, the foundation of identity, once built on soil and stories, it now floats in a digital void. Necro-economics and ghost genealogies, they're not just the story of vanishing families. They're the story of a civilization haunted by what it can no longer afford to remember, let alone pass down. The The behavioral threshold monster thrives on our complacency, on our willingness to accept absence as inevitable. But if we recognize the signs, if we question what's normal and reclaim lost stories and connections, we begin to resist the pull. Even the smallest act, sharing a memory, telling a story, reaching out to family, it becomes a spark against the dark. You're not merely a victim of these forces. Once you start noticing, asking, and remembering, that's resistance. If you're not sure where to start, try calling a relative or writing down a childhood memory, or asking your parents about their own parents. Every act of remembrance is a step toward reclaiming what matters. So, my friends, what does resistance look like for you? Where do you see signs of the behavioral threshold monster? And how might you push back? Feel free to share your stories, questions, and your resistance in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this has been Katatu saying so long from Universe 26, the channel at the end of the universe.